And when we used to manufacture all that stuff, we had the biggest industrial economy in the world. And the world was looking to us to become like us in their own countries by building industry, manufacturing. Enter into the trade world, right? But we know what happened in our country. Slowly, 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 the government allowed our jobs to go to China. And I was watching a short video where a gentleman went into an old town up in the mountains somewhere, and I'm going to assume maybe it was Pennsylvania, western Pennsylvania, or maybe the mountain areas, you know, eastern Indiana or something. Maybe it was even Michigan, but red big brick buildings, abandoned town, totally abandoned houses, little subdivisions and that. And he's like, what happened here? My comment is, well, why don't you go back and research what industry used to be in that area? Did they build cars? Maybe furniture? Maybe they made carpet, clothing, washers, dryers, refrigerators, Curtis Mathes TVs. Maybe they did that there. And thus there's a town, because there's income and people making a living, and they have to spend their money somewhere. So what moves into this area? Yeah. So when you take that out, when towns go away, because there's no way for anybody to support themselves in those towns, and thus the stores are going to shut, and the whole place is just abandoned. So you got these towns and subdivisions all across America that are abandoned. Everyone's like, what the heck happened? It's been happening for a long time. And with all the push on the trade wars and this, that, and the other thing, I have not heard over and overwhelming evidence in any platform, including the economic platforms, about how we have a lot of mandates coming for small businesses and small business administration loans and tax havens for people to start small businesses, so we can start manufacturing here. Maybe start with small things and make bigger, bigger, bigger. And eventually, the successful ones in small business become the innovators and the next big companies, just like all that happened before. A little company starts up, then they get some money, they grow, they make a good product, they innovate. Next thing you know, they have a freaking automobile company, and they're building cars and employing thousands of people. But I haven't heard one mandate. I haven't heard the news overwhelmingly talk about it and push it. What I hear the news do is say that Trump is threatening other countries for these trade deals. But we're still not making anything here like we used to. So in my opinion, I really think it's more theater and the pre-recording of history that they're going to give back to the surviving masses after the next big event. Ask me, it's all 1984 stuff in Animal Farm right now. And how far is it going to go? I don't know. I don't like the fact that Trump gets insulted by a former president of a country, and it's like, well, I'm going to put 3 nuclear submarines off your coast. Now, what is that supposed to mean to us? Oh, yeah, kick his ass, Trump? Americans, you do realize that Russia has just as highly technical subs. And they have nukes. And they have nuclear torpedoes. So if we're going to go shoot a couple nukes into Russia, you don't think they're not going to nuke us back? You think they're going to, oh my God, you nuked me? You guys need to quit living in a 35-minute sitcom. This is life and death for the world. And why? Is this egos fighting? Trump's ego is in the way now? I often wonder. I know he inherited a bunch of shit, but you just can't go around other superpowers with nukes and say, hey, do this. But if you're doing that to these guys, it shows you how you've always treated the smaller countries, which is how America's always treated smaller little states. Do as we say, or we'll replace you, and we're going to get your stuff anyways. So either way, just surrender to us, let us get your stuff. It's happened time after time after time. Everyone can go look up the history. I have, and I know what's happened in the American century, including seeing that live interview about what the CIA and the FBI did for the American century. You guys should look that up too. So that's what I see going on here. I see a lot of theater. I don't see anybody getting busted. I don't see the cost of anything coming down really, maybe a dime or so in the gas, but the food's still high. How's your rent? How's your power, your gas, your electric? Things are getting more expensive, and I got the sneaky suspicions because all the currencies in all the world are returning our currency, and we're going under super hyperinflation. I heard yesterday that hyperinflation's only up 1.4% last quarter or whatever it was, but it was still over 7% before that. So where are we at now? Nearly 10%? Hope your 401ks match that growth of inflation, like you made over 10% this year. At least you could keep up with inflation in your 401ks. I know my cryptocurrencies beat it, so I'm still doing good, but I don't touch my cryptocurrencies. That's for my get out of Dodge 65 retiring, and now that the government wants us to work to 72, 75. I'm telling you, man, they're telegraphing the future of this industrial base of this country, and there's not going to be any. I still don't hear any mandates in the news over and over again. We're giving out SBA loans. Go start up small businesses in your area. We're going to give you tax breaks so you can rebuild industry in America and make America great again. That's what made America great, was small businesses. And what happened? The government deregulated the businesses, especially the big ones, and let them become monopolies and pushed the little mom and pa's out. And they did it, if you ask me, it was engineered and designed. And now once they pushed the mom and pa's out, then where did all those companies go? To China. So I don't hear anybody inviting mom and pa back in to small businesses and manufacturing. Not any news reports, no mandates. I don't even hear talk about it in the economic chat zones and news reports. So I have the feeling that their only sole purpose and goal is to continue on fulfilling biblical prophecy and the next big thing. It's like what a podcaster I've been watching for a very long time said. First they take you to, first they go into currency wars, then trade wars, and then it's world war. And you look up the past 2 world wars, and you can even look up how they were pre-engineered by researching the Albert Pike letters. And you're going to see this trend is repeating again here now. And this event that's being executed before our eyes as a theatrical performance has already been pre-written about in the Albert Pike letters. Albert Pike letters. Look it up. And then you're going to get an idea what the frick's coming down the pipe. I was sure hoping Trump was going to really do something, and, you know, within at least 6 months we'd have some type of small business mandates, SBA loans, instead of some frickin' threatening other countries. Why the hell do we give a shit about China? Let's just start remanufacturing here. Within a few years, if he gives us some mandates, we have our own small businesses, we'll be building washers and dryers here. We'll be building our own drill guns here. And China can go sell their cheap Chinese garbage to the rest of the world, and we'll sell our Made in America drill guns and washers and dryers and flat screen TVs and cell phones here. And whoever wants a good high quality U.S. Made in America product. I do not see that, and I do not think we're going to get it. It had been a pretty cool run for what we did have as a nation, but as Scripture says, and I think it's part of it, because the Lord has really been talking to me again about tithes and offerings, and about honoring and making sure there's meat in God's house. And I know today that there's less and less churches, and I know when I was in ministry, we struggled, and I know ministries today that I'm supporting that are struggling financially, and they're just preaching the word. They're not giving frills and thrills and make you feel comfortable as far as, giving free things away and buy for favor, pay for play. And these ministries that I follow are struggling just like our ministry did. And all we did was what Jesus said. Give a cup of water, clothe the poor, That's what we did. Always struggled. So here we are. That being said, I've sent off my tithe, and it's not even truly my tithe. God gave me this to send to him so he could be partnered with me in my personal economy here, which is not doing very good because of, well, I've never been 100% faithful in paying my tithe. That's number one. Number two, the whole country's robbed God, so the whole country's under the same problem. And so there we are. I don't see anything getting better. I see the next kingdom being set up as God ordained it. The next kingdom beyond ruling the earth for a short time, because his time is short. And I see the system that he's going to want in place to run it being set up, especially in the Western kingdom. I don't know about what's happening in Russia or China. But I know China's already like a surveillance state. So, but we have our own stuff coming on here, our Golden Dome, Surveillance Dome, and other things. But still no mandates on small business. So, quick on this, then I'll let everyone go. Extremely wealthy business investors and board shareholders on boards of these corporations that back in when they were here lobbied the government to go overseas. Now the companies are overseas that used to be here, and they're making way more profit than they ever did. They don't have the EPA to deal with. They don't have DOT or OSHA. They don't have unions and high wages, but even though China's wages have come up amazingly considering where they used to be. So they have a big middle class. So me being a big investor and I'm making all this profit over there, and the whole world is my storefront, why would I take my business out of this country and lose my profits by putting it in yours? Because you're going to tariff me to buy my products? Well, maybe there's enough people in the world that I can still sell my products to, that if you're out of the picture, it's still not going to affect me. And if you're going to tariff my company and now put 15%, 20% on my washing machine, the people in America that still need that washing machine, they're going to pay the extra 20%, 25%. So I'm the rich guy that just invested in the company and lobbied the government to get it to move there. I'm still making money. I'm not coming back. And I think Trump, being a businessman, should understand this. But maybe not. Maybe he's just a casino type guy. He might not know that industry. I don't know. But I'm just thinking as a logical business owner, that's what I would do. Why the frick would I would come back? So if I was Trump or the president in this country, we just have to write those companies off and replace them through small businesses and restarting manufacturing here. That's where I'm going to leave it. Right there. You guys think I'm crazy or think I got any ideas in there? I want to know your ideas, so give me your comments and like, subscribe, and share this video with all your buds. And we will see you next time, Pete and I, here on Walkabout Talkabout. Till then, have a good one, everyone. Remember, Jesus saves. God bless us.